Grand Isle. Our concern from the beginning has been this level of storm surge for that island and the people who chose to remain on it. We are in touch. We just were in touch with them. We're still via radio contact in touch with them. We were in touch with the fire station. The fire station is taking on water now. Now, what you're seeing in Grand Isle, you're going to start seeing coming up this way, so our attention is quickly on Lafitte, and the conditions will begin deteriorating and have deteriorated in Lafitte, and that is going to come up our way. So this is what we're looking at. Electrical outages, as you would imagine, are happening very frequently. Every time we check, it's probably gone up since I just last checked. 10 minutes ago, it's 46,000 that were out. We just checked right before I got to the podium. It was 54,000 customers without power. So this is what we are actually, expect for this kind of storm. So right here in Upper Jefferson, we will start feeling these impacts that the Lower Jefferson has starting to feel very quickly, and we're going to be at this for quite some time. We already had a Jefferson Parish leadership call this morning with over 100 participants, so we are in touch with our partners. We are in touch with our stakeholders. The communication channels are there so that we can respond very closely. Obviously, in Grand Isle, as I mentioned, our eyes are on them. We have gotten requests for rescue for people who stayed on the island, obviously, and I mentioned Whitecaps are on the highway. Our fire station's taking water. On Grand Isle, obviously, first responders cannot get to you, so those folks are just going to have to hunker down and wait for the storm to pass before it's safe and before we can get to them in Grand Isle. And also the concern, again, for Lafitte. I just saw the mayor. We are in touch with him in Lafitte, and they will begin seeing these conditions deteriorate rapidly. Was on the phone with Sheriff Joseph Lapinto. He is stationed on the East Bank. I want to thank him and his officers. They proactively went down to Lafitte, Lower Lafitte, Barataria, and Crown Point yesterday evening to identify, even though we had a mandatory evacuation, to identify people that are still in Lafitte. So I want to thank him for that. They went house to house with a few dozen officers, identifying people's names, their phone number, where they live, and the number of people in the house. So we want to thank him for that, and I thank, our first responders are so strong in Jefferson Parish, that proactive move, so they know immediately and are ahead of the game for search and rescue. Again, Upper Jefferson, the conditions will start to deteriorate rapidly. The threats that we have been saying you will start seeing them now, okay? So the wind, the rain, the flash flooding, and the overall power outages will happen. We've already had a report of an animal tied to a tree that our animal protection services have had to respond to. Animals need to be inside. We cannot pick up animals now. We are not going out, but all animals, if their lives are going to be spared, they need to be brought inside, and this animal is tied to a tree, so thank goodness we were able to rescue that animal before conditions worsened. If you're going to stay at home, please stay inside. Find the safest place in your home, an interior room, away from windows, away from skylight, away from glass doors, away from anything, projectiles flying outside that could break into your home that way. Understand how the trees are around your home. We expect a lot of fallen trees. A tree could fall on your house. You don't want to be in that location on your house, so you have to be strategic in where you're going to ride out this storm. We are prepared for post-storm recovery. Our teams are ready, our law enforcement officers, our firefighters, and we're so fortunate to have the Louisiana National Guard here to help our first responders out. I will tell you, this is a difficult time right now for these officers. They are used to responding. They are used to doing what they do best, and right now they're stuck just waiting. So I think what you're seeing all of us feel is a rush of adrenaline to try to do something, but we're stuck where we are right now. We have to wait this storm out, but the teams are ready and they're strategizing about how they are going to clear roads, get the roads accessible, and begin their assessment and their rescue. I want to just state something that we want to keep only life-threatening, very serious, very critical issues to our 911. So if it's life-threatening, it's down power lines, it's something very dangerous in our community, or if you are suffering from something that needs immediate attention, They're not going to be able to respond all the time during the storm, but it is appropriate to call 911. If it's a less critical issue, let's try to be smart about not overwhelming the 911 line. So if it's something having to do with a tree down, but it's not impacting the roadway, or, as I said, animals, or just oxygen distribution or some resources that you need, please call our Emergency Operations Center at 504-349-5360. Again, 911 for crisis situations, life-threatening situations, the less serious conditions, and we want to know everything. We're going to have teams out there assessing all the roads, so, if there's a tree down on a major road, don't bother to call. Our teams are going to get there. They're going to go look at those major highways. They know, they have a plan, so you don't have to call on that. But any less serious condition, let's keep it out of the 911 calls and call 504-349-5360. A reminder, we have no transit, no paratransit tomorrow. A reminder also that our offices are closed on Monday and the schools are closed on Monday. Okay, so with that, I'm going to invite up our Director of Emergency Management Services, Mr. Joe Valiente. And let me go back. I forgot to do this with my notes. Okay, so right now we have 54,000 power outages. Of course, all of the electricity is out on Grand Isle. All of the electricity is out in Lafitte. And now, this is growing, but on the West Bank, Estelle, Manhattan and Harvey, Woodmere, Terrytown, major outages. On the East Bank, Harahan, Elmwood, Jefferson, Metairie Terrace, Kenner, Airline, and around Lafreniere Park.